Okay, this section is going to be on expressions and equations at 7.EE.1. If you'll notice, all of these questions say simplify, simplify, which means you are not going to completely solve the answer. You're just going to be simplifying. Now, if you look at this one, you have 2 and 2/5 x, 1/10 x, and 1/2 x. These are not multiplication signs, they're x's. If you look in the standard, you'll see that it says rational coefficients. That means fractions and decimals. So this whole standard has to do with rational coefficients. So in order to do anything, we've already learned that we need to make improper fractions. So we're going to, again, multiply and add. So 2 times 5 is 10, plus 2 is 12. So that's 12/5 x. Okay, there's an x. We're multiplying by x. Okay, plus 1/10 x because it's already a regular fraction. It's not a mixed number, x, plus 1/2 x. Now again, if you saw my previous videos, when we were adding more than 2 fractions, I grouped them, and that's how I'm going to do that again. I'm going to group them. Obviously, we could change the denominator to 10 here and 10 here and just add. But again, if you're comfortable doing that, by all means do that. But I'm going to show you. For right now, since we know that all of our fractions have an x with it, I'm just going to deal with the fraction part and then add the x back at the end. So I'm going to come up here, and I'll pick just these two because they're right here. 1/10 plus 1/2. So I'm going to do the butterfly method. And here, so that's 20, 2 times 10. 2 times 1 is 2. 10 times 1 is 10. So I'm adding 2 plus 10 is 12. So we have 12/20. Okay, that's what we got here. So I'm going to take this sum that I got and go ahead and add it here. So I have 12/5. Remember, there's an x here and there's an x here. That's why I can add them together. And plus 12/20. Okay, and again, I'm going to do the butterfly. Okay, 5 times 20. Okay, if you can't do that in your head, here we go. Here's clear. 5 times 20 equals 100. Okay, so we have 100 is our denominator, and then we have 20 times 12. Well, 20 times 10 is 200 plus 40, so 240. And again, if you can't do that in your head, 20 times 12 equals 240. Okay. And then 5 times 12, we know our 5 times table, so that's 60. So we add that together, and that's 300/100. So this is correct, but like I've said many, many times before, x, is this will not show up on a multiple choice test because you have to reduce. So I happen to know that 300 divided by 100 is 3. So my answer is 3x, which is a nice, even, round number. We can't go any further than this because we have no equal sign. So we're not going to know what x is until they give us an equal sign. I'm going to do the exact same thing over here. So I'm going to mix number. 7 times 6 is 42 plus 1 is 43/6. That was with an x. I'm going to subtract 3x. Pay attention, this is subtraction now. And then I'm going to subtract 1/3 x. Now, when I do this, I'm going to go ahead, and since it's subtract, minus, it doesn't matter which order, but I do have to start with this number. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2 at a time. 43 over 6 minus 1/3. It's exactly the same as what we did before, but only we're going to subtract this time. So we have 43 times 3, 1 times 6, okay? So 6 times 3 is 18. 3 times 43, 3 times 43. 3 times 43 equals 129. All right. 129. 6 times 1 is 6. So we're going to subtract. Look, 129 minus 6. 129 minus 6 is 123 over 18. Now, this one is kind of interesting because it's a whole number. So I could make this into a mixed number and then just subtract 3 from it. And that's what I'm going to do because that's the easiest thing to do. Why mess with fractions if you don't have to? So 123, 123 divided by, 18. So that goes in 6 times. So I know that my large number is going to be 6. So 18 times 6, 108. So when I subtract 123, I get 15 left over. So I have 15 18ths left. I know I can divide both of those numbers by 3, so that would end up being 5/6. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to 5/6, because 15 divided by 3 is 5, 18 divided by 3 is 18. So now I have this 6. Don't get confused. This is not your final answer, because all you did was subtract this and this. This you still have to subtract 3. Well, 6 minus 3 is just 3. So my final answer, 6 minus 3, is 3 5/6. There it is. Oh, I'm sorry, with an X, because remember, this had an X, this had an X, and this had an X. I'm going to come over here. Again, it says simplify. We did this in Unit 1, only we were using integers. Now we're using rational numbers. So this is just the distributive property. So remember, I can have 1/4, 2x, and then over here, instead of saying minus 12, I want to put a negative 12 here, okay? That will help so I don't get confused about that sign. So 4 times 2x, or 1/4 times 2x. So let's see. 1/4 times 2 over 1, that's 2/4 x. I'm going to go ahead and reduce that to 1/2 x because I know I can reduce that. So that's 1/2 x. Now, 1/4 times negative 12 over 1 is, I'm going to come over here a little bit, negative 12 over 4, which when I divide that is negative 3. As 12 divided by 4 is 3, so that's negative 3. So when I pull it out of the box, I have 1/2 x minus, because that's a negative, 3. Over here, again, you guys get very confused when you have division, especially when there's a fraction involved. So I'm just going to write it like this. 1/2 divided by, there we go, divided by 8x, okay? So we're just going to do this like it's a regular fraction. So 8 over 1, okay? I copy the first number, change this to multiplication, copy, dot, flip, keep, change, flip. So either that's going to be 1 over 8x. 1 times 1 is 1. 8 times 2 is 16x. So your answer is 1 over 16x.